7.1 My Favorite Things.
Hello and welcome to My Favorite Things. Today I'm talking to the German photographer Matt Henneck. Welcome, Matt.
Hi.
So let's start with your favorite actor. You've chosen Daniel Day-Lewis. Why do you like him so much?
He's such a brilliant actor. I just love him in all his films. He's so talented, but he only does what he wants to do and believes in, which I think is great.
Yes, he certainly deserves his 3 Oscars. And what about the world of sport?
Well, I'm a football fan and Bayern Munich is my team. I'm crazy about them. I always find them exciting to watch. And for me, they're simply the best, even when they aren't.
You're a real fan. Now, your choice in music is interesting.
Yes, Bach. I think his music is very special, unique, in fact, and it's never ever boring. And of course, my favorite musician is my partner, the pianist Hélène Grimaud. She's the coolest. You're always in the best hands when she's playing for you.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, now to food.
Well, I really like simple country food. And I'm German, so my favorite meal is probably Nuremberg sausages and sauerkraut.
Nuremberg sausages. I've never heard of those. What are they like?
They're quite small, a little bit spicy, and so delicious.
I must try them. And your favorite book?
I'm a great fan of the American writer Cormac McCarthy, and I've chosen his Border trilogy.
I've never read his writing. What's it like?
It's amazing. It's almost like poetry.
Oh.
His books are sad in some ways, but always full of hope.
Well, I'll put him on my reading list. So, finally, your favorite TV program?
Oh, I thought The Americans was fantastic. It's a series about Russian spies living in America in the 1980s. It's quite shocking sometimes, but it can also be very funny.
7.2 What's Berlin like? 1.
What's Berlin like?
It's a really exciting city. There's so much going on all the time.
What's the weather like there?
It's okay. It gets hot in summer and very cold in winter. And we do get quite a lot of rain. But people don't go there for the sunshine.
What are the people like?
Berliners are great. They're a very interesting mix. It's a very cosmopolitan city and it attracts unusual people.
And what are the buildings like?
Oh, amazing. Lots of them are famous and historical, but there are some fantastic modern ones too.
What are the restaurants like?
They're brilliant. You can find food from every country in the world, and some great traditional German food too.
What's the nightlife like?
It's fantastic. There are lots of really good bars and clubs, and some wonderful theaters and concert halls. It's the best thing about Berlin.
7.3 Matt's favorite city.
Do you travel a lot, Matt?
Oh yes, I often go with Hélène on tour. We've been to Tokyo, Munich and Santa Barbara recently.
And what are they like?
Well, they're very different cities. Tokyo is obviously the biggest and the busiest. It's much bigger than Munich and much more modern.
And is it more interesting?
In some ways, yes, but I think they're all interesting cities. And in fact, for me, the best and most interesting is Santa Barbara.
Really? Why?
Well, it's much smaller than the other 2 cities, and it isn't as exciting. It doesn't have Tokyo's skyscrapers or Munich's history, But it's unusual to find a city that's so beautiful and calm and so green.
Santa Barbara sounds like the best city for relaxing. And what about food? Which is the best city for food?
Oh, for me, Tokyo has the most delicious food. Simple and fresh. I just love Japanese food.
So is it better than sausages and sauerkraut?
Oh, I don't know about that.
7.4. Which is bigger?
Tokyo's bigger than Berlin. Berlin isn't as big as Tokyo.
7.5. Who's cleverer?
Who's cleverer, you or Ben?
Me, of course. I'm much cleverer than Ben. He isn't nearly as clever as me.
7.6. A poem.
Good, better, best. Never, never rest. Till your good is better, and your better best. Good, better, best. Never, never rest. Till your good is better, and your better best.
7.7. General knowledge quiz. 1.
Monaco is much smaller than Malta, but Vatican City is the smallest country, less than half a square kilometre.
2.
The Eiffel Tower is nearly as tall as the Empire State Building, but the Burj Khalifa in Dubai is the tallest by far, 828 metres.
3.
The Atlantic Ocean is bigger than the Arctic Ocean, but the Pacific Ocean is the biggest. It's twice as big as the Atlantic.
4.
The Japanese bullet train isn't as fast as the Italian AGV Italo. The Shanghai Maglev is the fastest train at 431 kilometres per hour.
5.
The lion is more dangerous than the shark, killing about 100 people every year compared to the shark's 10. The hippopotamus is the most dangerous. It kills about 500 people a year.
7.8. Best for the job? Age.
Adam Bates is the oldest. He's 32. Jasmine Wyland is the youngest. She's only 26. Rachel Slater is a bit younger than Adam. She's 30.
Present salary.
Adam earns the most. He has the highest salary by far, £32,000. Jasmine doesn't earn nearly as much as Adam, only £25,000. And Rachel earns quite a lot more than Jasmine, £28,000.
Experience.
Adam has the most experience, but he doesn't have much more than Rachel. They both have a lot more experience than Jasmine.
Qualifications.
Rachel is the most qualified. She isn't much more qualified than Adam, but she's a lot more qualified than Jasmine.
Happy to travel.
Adam is happiest to travel, and Rachel is a lot happier to travel than Jasmine.
7.9. The best things in life are free. Jane.
Oh, I think there are lots of things I like that don't cost anything. Let me think. Sunsets. There's nothing more beautiful. My house is on a hill opposite some fields, and in the evening, when I look out of the living room window, I see some amazing sunsets. And, well, friends and family are the most important thing in my life. I've just become a grandmother to the most gorgeous baby boy. And hugs are free. I love hugs with all my grandchildren. And they're something that money can't buy. But my youngest son still lives at home. He certainly isn't free. He costs me a lot of money.
Robin.
Well, I work in an office in the city, and for me, the best thing is being in the countryside. I don't mind what the weather is like. Even if it's rainy and windy, it's great to be outside, in nature. I like to be on my own when I go walking. It's a great time to think. But I suppose I do spend money driving to the countryside, so if you really want something that's free, then the park is the next best thing. There's a lovely park near my flat. It's got a small lake and some wonderful trees, and I often go there for a quick walk after work. It's the easiest way to put the day's work behind me.
Charlotte.
Well, I don't have to pay for much in my life. Just sweets. Because I'm only 8. But I think the best thing for me is playing with my little sister, Ava. She's only 4, so I'm a lot older than her. I've also got a brother, Dominic. He's 6, but he doesn't like the games I like, so he isn't as much fun to play with as Ava. She's always waiting for me when I come home from school. She thinks I'm the best person in the whole world. We usually play hospitals or schools. I'm the doctor or teacher, of course, because I'm the biggest.
Ella.
Definitely the best thing in my life is being with my boyfriend, Alex. Of course, we sometimes do things together that cost money, like going to the cinema, but we don't need to spend anything to have a good time. We often just go out for walks or sit around chatting. He makes me laugh so much. He's the funniest person I know, and he's also the nicest friend anyone could have. We've been together nearly a year now, so it feels like our relationship just gets better and better. I think I'm really lucky.
Oliver.
The best thing that's free in my life is my dog, Fudge. My uncle gave him to me for my 13th birthday. He was a puppy and he's 11 now, so we've grown up together. He was so cute as a puppy, but I think he's even more beautiful now. What's he like? Well, he's very loving and he's also a bit crazy and he's great fun to play with. He may be getting older, but he's still far more energetic than I am. I'm always more tired than him after a walk. And I know it's very lucky that I haven't had to take him to the vets very often, because that definitely isn't free.
7.10. That's nice.
It's a nice day, isn't it?
Yes, it's nice.
But it wasn't very nice yesterday, was it?
No, it wasn't nice.
7.11. A lovely day.
It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful.
But it wasn't very nice yesterday, was it?
No, it was horrible.
7.12. Synonyms. 1.
I'm scared of spiders.
Well, a lot of people are frightened of big ones.
Yeah, but even the small ones are a problem for me.
2.
Let's check the answer key to see if it's right.
Yes, it's correct.
Oh, good. I really wasn't sure about that one.
3.
It's strange that Dave left without saying goodbye.
Yes, that is unusual.
Maybe he was in a hurry today.
4.
I think I'll find it hard to drive on the left when I'm in the UK.
It'll be difficult at first, but after a while you'll be fine.
I can't imagine it. It's the wrong side of the road.
5.
Are you happy with your new phone?
Yes, I'm very pleased with it. The camera's fantastic.
I think I might get one of those myself then.
6.
Tommy's a clever boy, isn't he?
Yes, he's very intelligent for a 10-year-old.
I've had some very adult conversations with him.
7.13. Antonyms. 1.
This film is so boring.
It isn't very interesting, is it?
2.
It's so noisy in this restaurant.
Yes, it isn't very quiet, is it?
3.
That man was really rude.
Yes, he wasn't very polite, was he?
4.
That was so stupid of you.
Yes, it wasn't very clever of me, was it?
5.
These plates are dirty.
They're not very clean, are they?
6.
Pat always seems so miserable.
Yes, she never seems very happy, does she?
7.
This computer is so slow.
It's not very fast, is it?
8.
Oh, it's really cold in here.
Yes, it's not very warm, is it?
7.14. What's on?
What shall we do today?
I'm not sure. Let's have a look. How about going to the cinema?
Oh, no. I don't feel like seeing a film.
OK. What about an exhibition?
Maybe. What's on?
There's Modigliani at the Tate Modern.
Not my kind of thing. What else?
There's an exhibition called Living with Gods, about beliefs in different cultures.
That sounds interesting. Where's it on?
The British Museum.
Oh, good. The British Museum's free.
Yeah, but this is a special exhibition and it's £15.
Oh, OK. We can get the tube to Russell Square. What time is it open?
They're open 10 till 6. And we could go to a silent disco at the London Aquarium afterwards.
Oh, I'd love to. Come on, let's go.
8.1. Kurt Weiner. Big wave surfer.
Kurt, do you have to be very fit and strong to be a big wave surfer?
Yeah, you do. You have to be strong in mind and body. It's a fantastic sport, but a dangerous one. I find doing yoga helps me a lot.
Yoga?
Yeah, a lot of surfers do yoga. You have to learn to hold your breath, and yoga helps with that. And, of course, it helps you keep calm when things get difficult.
I can understand that.
I've learned to hold my breath for over 4 minutes. That was one of the first things I had to learn. The bigger the wave, the longer you have to do it.
4 minutes. Wow. Kurt, did you have to start surfing when you were very young to be as good as you are today?
I can't remember when I didn't surf. My dad took me before I was 2 years old.
So, do you have to start young if you want to be a good surfer?
Well, you don't have to, but it helps. And living here, it's the natural thing to do. It's just part of life on Oahu.
You say you have to keep fit. So, how often do you train?
Well, I don't have to train every day, but I do most days. I go swimming underwater. I go to Three Tables Caves near my home. It's great for breath-holding practice.
And do you travel to surf?
I do. A lot. I've been to surf spots all over the world, from Mexico to China. But right on my doorstep is one of the most famous waves in the world, the Banzai Pipeline. It's a fantastic ride.
Kurt, you're a lucky guy. I hear you have a surf school, too. Can you teach me to surf?
8.2. You don't have to, but it helps. 1,
Kurt, do you have to be very fit and strong to be a big wave surfer?
2,
You have to be strong in mind and body.
3,
You have to learn to hold your breath.
4,
That was one of the first things I had to learn.
5,
Kurt, did you have to start surfing when you were very young to be as good as you are today?
6,
I can't remember when I didn't surf.
7,
So, do you have to start young if you want to be a good surfer?
8,
You don't have to, but it helps.
9,
I don't have to train every day, but I do most days.
8.3. Questions and answers. 1,
Does Kurt have to train hard?
Yes, he does. He has to train very hard.
2,
Why does Kurt do yoga?
Because surfers have to hold their breath for a long time.
3,
Do all surfers have to start young?
No, they don't have to, but it helps.
8.4. Pronunciation. 1,
I have a good job. I have to work hard.
2,
He has a new surfboard. He has to train a lot.
3,
We had a good time. We had to get up early.
8.5. Advice from Dr. Drew. A,
Dear Adam, before you do any more exercise, you must see a doctor. You must find out how serious your injury is. If it's not too bad, then you should do gentle exercises at first. Perhaps some exercises in water, a little swimming perhaps, or join a yoga class. And you must walk before you run again. You absolutely mustn't run until it has completely healed.
B,
Dear Millie, the fact is that to get to the top in sport, you have to train very hard and keep very fit. This could be the chance of a lifetime. I don't think you should talk to just your friends. You must talk to someone else about how you feel, and this should be your parents or your coach. I don't think you should believe all your friends say about having fun. Maybe they're jealous of your special talent.
C,
Dear James, you should make exercise a part of your daily life. You shouldn't sit at your desk all day. Perhaps there is a gym near where you work. Keep some sports clothes at work and go there for just 15 minutes in your lunch break when you can. You don't have to exercise for long periods. Just 10 minutes every now and then helps. When you travel, you should stay in hotels that have a gym or a spa. And if you want to lose weight, you shouldn't have too many big business dinners in expensive restaurants.
D,
Dear Cheryl, oh dear, I think you should try a different kind of exercise. I don't think you should exercise alone. It can help if you do it with other people. What about a sport such as tennis or perhaps dancing? There are all kinds of dance classes. You're sure to find one you like. One of the best exercises is walking. And you don't have to do this alone. You should ask a friend to go with you, and then you can chat and exercise at the same time.
8.6 Giving advice. 1.
I'm hopeless at all sports.
You shouldn't worry about it. Lots of people aren't sporty, but you should make some exercise part of your daily routine. Walking more quickly can help.
2.
I can't sleep at night.
You must do more exercise during the day. Why don't you walk to work? And you shouldn't drink so much coffee just before bedtime.
3.
I don't like my brother's new girlfriend.
I don't think you should tell your brother. I think you should try to find some good things about her.
4.
I've got an important exam tomorrow, and I'm really nervous.
I don't think you should study any more today. You must get a good night's sleep tonight. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll pass. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world.
5.
A boy in my class is bullying me.
You must tell your teacher, or ask your mum to talk to the teacher.
6.
I fell off my bike and banged my head. Now I've got a bad headache.
Oh, that looks bad. You must go to A&E immediately and get an X-ray. I'll drive you. I don't think you should go alone.
7.
Oh, my computer's behaving very strangely.
Mine does that all the time. You should do what I do. Turn it off, wait a while, then turn it on again. It's the only thing that ever works for me.
8.
My car's making a funny noise.
It sounds bad. You mustn't drive it. You should call the garage.
8.7 A health quiz. Answers. 1.
You shouldn't skip breakfast. This is not true. Skipping breakfast does not necessarily make you unhealthy. However, the fact is that people who do have breakfast are more likely to look after their health generally. They eat healthily and exercise regularly, so they're more healthy anyway.
2.
You should weigh yourself regularly. This is true. Weighing yourself regularly helps you to keep a healthy weight. But you shouldn't do it too often. Not every day. Once a week is enough.
3.
You must always warm up before hard exercise and cool down after.
Yes, this is a good idea. Some fast walking to start, and perhaps some yoga or Tai Chi afterwards.
4.
Swimming is one of the best forms of exercise you can do.
This is true. Some people say that swimming is the perfect exercise for the body. Tai Chi is also very good because it is both movement and relaxation. And don't forget walking. It's a simple but powerful way to keep healthy, as long as you do it in comfortable shoes.
5.
You should do 30 minutes continuous activity rather than 10 minutes 3 times a day.
This is not true. Best is short periods of 10 minutes, but it's fine to do both. You should try to do at least 150 minutes a week.
6.
You should always exercise until it hurts. No pain, no gain.
This is not true. You don't have to feel pain when you exercise to keep fit. Do it slowly at first. Little and often is better. And then build up to harder, longer exercises.
7.
If you want to lose weight, you should drink water after a meal.
No, you should drink water before a meal. It helps you feel full. And you won't eat too much.
8.
If you don't feel full after a meal, you should wait 15 minutes and see how you feel then.
This is a good idea. Sometimes you want to eat more just after a meal. But if you wait 15 to 20 minutes, your food fills your stomach and you start to feel full.
9.
You should always choose water over other drinks to rehydrate after exercising.
Not true. It doesn't have to be water. Any non-alcoholic drink will rehydrate you.
10.
It's better to exercise in the morning rather than the afternoon or night.
Not true. There is no best time. The important thing is just to exercise. You can do morning, afternoon, or night.
8.8. Andy Lambert, a stuntman's story.
Andy, I've often wondered, and never asked, how did you become a stuntman?
Well, I first thought about it when I was at school. I always loved sports, all sports. Athletics, swimming, even pole vaulting, anything and everything. And I loved climbing trees too, so I thought, I'd like to be a stuntman.
Really? You actually had the idea at school? It's not a job many people think of.
Well, I did. But then I thought that the people doing it had to be very special in some way, so it couldn't be me. But eventually, when I was 29, I had the courage and got started. 29 is quite late for a stuntman.
So, what were the first jobs you did?
Well, I worked as a film extra at first on some TV dramas. I was the person sat at the bar, or just one of the crowd. But at the same time, I worked at other skills. You have to do that. Horse riding, high diving, and martial arts, of course. I did judo competitions, and I built a portfolio of photographs of myself.
You really planned it carefully then?
Yeah, I was keen. And finally, I got my first job. It was on a film called Onegin, a Russian romantic drama with Ralph Fiennes. I was doubling for Toby Stevens, Maggie Smith's son.
Oh, yeah? Then what?
Well, after that, I got work on a Bond film, one with Pierce Brosnan. When he comes crashing through a restaurant window in a speedboat? That was me.
I saw the film. I didn't recognise you.
Oh, that's good. You're not meant to.
I know. So, how do you prepare for a film like that?
First, you have to talk through the stunts with the director. So, for example, if you're going to fall out of a window, you have to talk about how he or she wants you to move in the air and land, hit the ground, you know.
Whoa, Andy, it sounds so dangerous. Have you ever been injured?
Not too much. I'm lucky. Just a few bumps and bruises. But a lot of stuntmen and women do get injured. Sprained ankles, broken arms and legs and the like. If you think about it, if you have to fall off a horse, say, 10 or 12 times in one day, you're not going to feel great.
I'm laughing, but...
Actually, there was another injury.
What was that?
Well, I was going to do a really big film. In Greece, it was Captain Corelli's Mandolin with Nicolas Cage. And then, just before I had to leave, I sprained my ankle.
Oh, what a shame. How did you do that?
Well, I was running in my local park and I fell. Can you believe it?
You're kidding. You don't do much stunt work now, do you?
No, I don't. I haven't done much since I married and had kids. My wife was pleased when I stopped. But my sons love to hear about when Dad was a stuntman. I still love a bit of danger in my life.
OK, how about a game of squash with me now? That's enough danger for me.
8.9. A children's song.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Arms and legs and feet and hands, feet and hands. Arms and legs and feet and hands, feet and hands. And eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Eight point 10. The doctor's diagnosis. 1.
I can't stop coughing and blowing my nose.
You've got a cold. It's just a bad cold.
2.
I've got a fever. My whole body aches and I feel awful.
You've got flu. Just go home and go to bed.
3.
It hurts when I walk on it.
You've got a sprained ankle. It looks quite bad. You should go for an X-ray.
4.
I keep going to the toilet.
You've got diarrhea. It's probably something you've eaten. You can get some pills from the pharmacist.
5.
My glands are swollen and it hurts when I swallow.
You've got a sore throat. Let me see. Yes. It's tonsillitis.
Oh.
6. I keep being sick and I've got terrible diarrhea.
You've got food poisoning. It will pass in a few hours. Oh dear. The toilet's just over there.
7.
I start sneezing when I'm near a cat.
You've got an allergy. Lots of people are allergic to cats. You can take antihistamine pills. You can get a packet from the chemist.
8.11. Seeing the doctor.
Hello. Come and sit down. What seems to be the problem?
Well, I haven't felt well for a few days. I've had a bad headache, and now I've got a sore throat.
Any sickness or diarrhea?
No, I haven't been sick or had any diarrhea.
Do you feel hot?
Yes, especially at night. I can't sleep because I feel hot, and I start coughing when I lie down.
OK, I'll just take your temperature. Can I just pop this in your mouth? Yes. You do have a bit of a fever. Now, let me see your throat. Open your mouth wide, please.
What can you hear?
Pardon?
Can you see anything?
Yes, your throat looks very red. Does this hurt?
Ouch!
And your glands are swollen.
Is it serious?
No, not at all. You just have a bit of a throat infection. You should have antibiotics. Are you allergic to penicillin?
No, I'm not.
Good. Now, you shouldn't go to work for a couple of days, and you must drink plenty of liquids. Just take things easy for a while. I'll write you a prescription.
Thank you. Do I have to pay you?
No.
Seeing me is free, but you'll have to pay for the prescription. It's £8.80.
Right. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Nine point one. Questions about Moolah. 1,
Where was Moolah walking when he saw the man?
Along the road, through the woods.
2,
What was the man carrying?
A dirty old sack.
3,
What did the man do when Moolah took his sack?
He sat down and cried.
4,
Where did Moolah put the man's sack?
In the middle of the road.
5,
How did the man feel when he got his sack back?
Very happy.
9.2. The story of Moolah and the miserable man.
A wise old man called Moolah was walking along the road through the woods when he saw a man walking towards him. The man was carrying a dirty old sack. He looked very unhappy, and when Moolah asked him why, the man told him his story. He was all alone because his wife had left him, and he was also poor and homeless because he had lost his job and his house. "Everything I own is in this old sack," he said. "My life is miserable." And he walked off. After the man had gone a few yards, Moolah ran past him, took his sack, and ran into the woods. The man was afraid to follow. He had heard it was easy to get lost in these woods. "Now my life is even more miserable," he said, and he sat down and cried. Meanwhile, further down the road, Moolah came out of the woods and put the man's sack in the middle of the road. Finally, when he had stopped crying, the man set off again, walking slowly and sadly. Suddenly, he saw his sack. "My sack!" he shouted. He picked it up. Everything was still inside it. He was overjoyed and walked happily on towards the city, singing as he went. "Well," said Moolah, "that's one way to make someone happy." The moral of the story is, appreciate what you have, however little.
9.3. Questions about the story. 1,
Why was the man all alone?
Because his wife had left him.
2,
Why was he poor and homeless?
Because he'd lost his job and his house.
3,
Why was he afraid to follow Moolah into the woods?
Because he'd heard it was easy to get lost in them.
4,
Why was his sack in the middle of the road?
Because Moolah had put it there.
5,
Why was he so happy?
Because he'd found his sack again with everything still inside it.
9.4. Pronunciation. 1,
He lost his job. He'd lost his job.
2,
We'd missed the bus. We missed the bus.
3,
They'd all left. They all left.
4,
But you met him before? But you'd met him before?
5,
I'd checked the doors. I checked the doors.
6,
She'd asked everybody. She asked everybody.
9.5. 1,
I got a fabulous view of the Alps as we were flying over them.
2,
I felt tired all day yesterday because I hadn't slept much the night before.
3,
Just as I was falling asleep, the neighbour's dog started barking.
4,
Tom's new girlfriend seemed familiar. I was sure I'd seen her somewhere before.
5,
I was nervous before the flight because I'd never flown before.
6,
My brother rang me while I was out shopping.
9.6 The Professor and His Driver.
Professor Higgs, one of the world's top astrophysicists, was giving a 6-month lecture tour of universities around Europe. He only had one more lecture to give before the tour ended. Higgs didn't like flying, so he travelled by car. He had his own driver because he was too tired to drive after he'd finished his lectures. One morning, as they were driving to the last lecture, his driver, Harry, said, "You know, Professor, I always sit in the hall when you give your lecture, and I know it so well by now, I think I could give it myself." Of course, Harry was only joking, but Professor Higgs knew Harry was a clever man, and he wanted to test the idea. As soon as they arrived at the university, the professor and Harry swapped clothes. The professor then sat quietly at the back of the hall while Harry gave the lecture. Harry had a fantastic memory and gave the lecture perfectly. He waited until the audience had finished clapping and started to leave the stage. Suddenly, someone stood up and said they wanted to ask a question. Harry listened to the long, complicated question, and then he spoke. That's a very good question, and although it seems a difficult one, the answer is actually very simple. In fact, it's so simple that I'm going to ask my driver to answer it for you.
9.7 Discussing Grammar. 1,
I went to bed when I'd done my homework.
2,
After I'd driven 200 miles, I stopped for coffee.
3,
She bought a car as soon as she'd passed her driving test.
4,
I didn't go to live in Italy until I'd learnt Italian.
5,
Although I'd enjoyed reading the book, I didn't like the film.
6,
His mother sent him to bed because he'd been naughty.
7,
I'd burnt the chicken, so we went out to eat.
8,
Jill invited me to stay for lunch, but I'd arranged to have lunch with Joe.
9.8 An interview with Liz Davis.
Hello and welcome to Bookworld. This week in the studio we have Liz Davis from YAP, Young Adult Publishers. Liz, many people get confused about the difference between children's literature and young adult literature. Are they sometimes the same thing?
Yes, they can be. Some of our books are for children as young as 12, and they aren't very different from other children's books. But many of the novels we publish are for 15 to 18-year-olds, and the stories and subjects in those are not what you usually find in children's literature. They're, well, more adult.
Now, children's literature is very big business at the moment. Is that because of the recent popularity of young adult fiction?
No, not really. We're in a golden age of children's literature for all ages right now. And it isn't the first golden age. There have been 3.
Ah.
The first came in the 19th century, with the earliest fantasy books for children. Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan were the first novels where ordinary children had adventures in a magical world.
And until then, children's books had been quite serious and educational, hadn't they?
Oh, yes. People thought children's stories should teach them morals. They were about children getting into dangerous situations in life because they behaved badly, and only the well-behaved children managed to escape. There's a lovely story called The Storyteller by a writer called Saki, which makes fun of this idea.
And when was the second golden age?
In the 1950s. There'd been the Second World War and the atomic bomb, and a lot of children's stories were now more serious, about saving the world from evil. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is a good example, and C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. It's not just the children in the story that are in danger, it's everything.
And isn't that true of a more recent example of young adult fiction, the Harry Potter series?
Yes, although I'm not sure it's correct to call the Harry Potter books young adult fiction. They were the first children's books that people of all ages read, from the very young to the very old. It's only the later Harry Potters, when the children become teenagers, that are more like young adult literature. But they're still not typical examples because they're all about the problems of using magic. Modern young adult novels are usually about the ordinary, everyday problems that teenagers experience.
So the stories aren't set in fantasy worlds anymore?
No, not so much. Some are. The Hunger Games books, for example. But most young adult literature is set in the very real world that teenagers live in.
Too real for some parents.
Yes, that's true. In the past, people often complained that young people's literature had never shown the reality of teenage life. Now, many parents aren't happy to find their children reading books that go into so much detail about relationships with the opposite sex and about alcohol and drugs.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, these problems are part of life for teenagers today, and I think it helps if they see people learning to get through them. What I don't like is when young adult novels end miserably. I know most teenagers like to be miserable sometimes, but I think they're looking for a happy ending, really.
9.9 The Storyteller Part 1.
It was a hot afternoon, and the hour-long train journey had only just begun. There were 5 people in the railway carriage, 2 young girls and their brother, sitting with their aunt and a young man who was sitting alone in the corner. The young man had already begun to think he'd chosen the wrong carriage to sit in. The children were hot, tired and bored, and behaving badly. The youngest girl was singing the first line of a song over and over again.
Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's.
Everything the aunt said began with don't, and everything the children said began with why.
Don't put your feet on the seat, Cyril. Why not? Because you'll make it dirty. And don't stare at the man. Oh, look at those sheep in that field.
Nearly every field the train had travelled past had had sheep in it, so the aunt's surprise was difficult to explain.
Why is that man taking the sheep into the other field?
Asked the younger girl.
Perhaps there's more grass in that field,
Replied the aunt.
But there's lots of grass in both fields.
Well, perhaps the grass is better in the other field. Why is it better?
Came the immediate question from Cyril. The young man was looking annoyed.
I imagine he doesn't like children.
The aunt thought.
Come and sit over here, all of you, and I'll tell you a story,
she said.
(9.10) The Storyteller, Part 2. The Aunt's Story.
The children did not look at all excited by the aunt's offer. They'd obviously heard her stories before, and this one was very boring indeed. It was about a beautiful young girl who worked very hard and behaved perfectly. Everyone in the village loved her. One day she fell into a lake, and of course, everybody ran to save her immediately.
So they saved her because she was so good?
Asked the bigger girl.
Exactly so,
Said the aunt.
But that's silly.
Said the girl.
When people are in danger, you always try to save them. You don't ask whether they're good or not.
Well, perhaps they ran a little faster to save her because she was so good.
The aunt replied.
Oh, how stupid.
Said the girl.
It's definitely the most stupid story I've ever heard.
Said Cyril.
It was so stupid, I didn't even listen to it.
The younger girl said, and began singing the first line of her song again.
You're not a great success as a storyteller,
said the young man suddenly from the corner.
Well, it's not easy to tell stories that young people can understand and enjoy.
The aunt replied, sounding stressed.
I don't agree,
said the young man.
Well, perhaps you would like to tell them a story then,
she suggested.
Okay,
said the young man, and he began.
9.11 The Young Man's Story.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a little girl called Bertha who was very, very good.
The children looked disappointed. They had hoped for a better story from him.
She was always well behaved and worked hard at school because she wanted to please her parents and teachers. She was never late, never dirty or untidy, never rude, and she never told lies.
Was she pretty?
Asked the small girl.
Not as pretty as you,
the young man said.
But she was horribly good.
The children were suddenly interested. Using the word horribly with good was unusual, and they liked how true it sounded.
Bertha was so good that she'd won 3 medals for it. One said never late, one said always polite, and the third said best behaved child in town. She wore them every day as she walked around town, so that everyone knew how good she was.
Horribly good,
Cyril reminded him.
Yes. Well, the king had heard how good this girl was, and he invited Bertha to tea at the royal palace. Bertha wore her best dress, which was very white and clean, put on her medals and walked through the woods towards the king's palace. But in the woods, there lived a big, hungry wolf. He quickly saw Bertha's clean white dress through the trees. Aha, thought the wolf. Lunch. He moved quickly and quietly through the trees towards Bertha. Bertha saw the wolf and ran, but it was difficult to run fast because of the medals. She hid in some bushes, but she was shaking with fear, and the wolf could hear the medals clinking together. He caught her and ate every bit of her, except for the medals, of course.
Oh!
9.12 The End of the Story.
What a terrible story to tell young children,
the aunt complained.
No, it's not. It's the most beautiful story I've ever heard,
said the smaller girl.
It's the only beautiful story I've ever heard,
said Cyril.
Well, at least I did manage to keep them quiet for a while,
said the young man as he got up to leave the train.
Goodbye.
(9.13) How did you feel? 1.
I was scared because the lights had gone out.
2.
I was jealous because my sister got the biggest bedroom.
3.
I was nervous because I hadn't sung in public before.
4.
I was upset because my best friend had forgotten my birthday.
5.
I was disappointed because the restaurant wasn't very good.
6.
I was proud because my photo won first prize.
9.14. Talking about feelings. 1.
Sometimes I feel really homesick.
I'm sure you do. What do you miss the most?
2.
I've got too much work to do.
You'll manage. You're just stressed right now.
3.
I'm worried about my driving test.
It's normal. I was nervous when I took mine.
4.
We're going to have a baby.
Oh, that's fabulous! I'm delighted for you both.
5.
I get upset when people are so horrible.
Well, remember that people can be really nice too.
9.15. Exclamations with so and such.
That was such an amazing film.
I was so scared.
9.16.
I was so surprised.
It was such a shock.
I've had such an awful day.
You have such crazy ideas.
We had such terrible weather.
There were so many people in town.
She sings so beautifully.
I've got so much work.
9.17. 1.
This is such a good novel. You must read it. Do you want to borrow it now?
2.
Don't watch that film on your own. It's so scary. I had my eyes closed for a lot of it.
3.
Susie and John are such nice people. They're always so friendly and helpful.
4.
There are so many pizzas to choose from. I can't decide which one to order.
5.
Why are you driving so fast? We're not in any hurry.
6.
Oh, you've made such a mess in the kitchen. Come and clean it up now.
7.
I've spent so much money this week. I should leave my credit card at home.
8.
That was such an amazing experience. It's the first time I've been to an IMAX cinema.
10.1. Tetris, the best-selling video game ever. Over 35 years old, and it is still played all over the world.
It is said that it's difficult to find a video game player who has never heard of Tetris. Over 495 million have been sold worldwide, and it's still selling.
The game has a long and unusual history.
It was created in Russia in 1984 by Alexei Pajitnov, an artificial intelligence researcher at the Russian Academy of Science in Moscow. Pajitnov invented games as a hobby, and many of them were enjoyed by his colleagues at the Academy, Tetris most of all. The game became so popular it spread from Moscow to Budapest, and in 1989 it was discovered by a British software publisher and then exported to the US. Tetris is the biggest-selling video game by far. Minecraft is the only other video game to have sold over 100 million units.
Why has it remained so popular for so many years?
There are a great many classic video games, so what is it about Tetris that has made it so universally popular? It is an easy puzzle game to play. It's made up of coloured squares, simple enough to be played by everyone, young and old. But it is mastered by only a few. It can be played on any computer. You don't need the latest model, and people in every country can play. Its simplicity means you can play as you go, anywhere, anytime. You don't have to sit and play for long periods of time. In 1989, the Nintendo Game Boy was launched in Japan, and Tetris was the perfect game for this, the first handheld computer. As of course it is today with the smartphone. It is played by generations of people on tablets, laptops, smartphones and game consoles. There is little doubt that years from now it will be downloaded by our children and grandchildren, the latest and new version of the most important video game in history.
10.2 Inventions that Changed the World. 1.
Paper was invented by a Chinese government official called Cai Lun in 105 AD. The first paper was made from a mixture of plants and cloth. Since the 18th century, paper has been made of wood because it is much stronger than cloth.
2.
The printing press was invented in 1440 by a German printer called Johannes Gutenberg. Today, everything is done by computer, and more words are printed every second than were printed every year in the 15th and 16th centuries.
3.
Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876. Bell was born in Scotland, but he moved to America and became a scientist and teacher of the deaf. He worked with his assistant, Thomas Watson, and the first sentence he ever sent was, "Watson, come here. I want you."
4. Guglielmo Marconi was an Italian physicist. He invented the radio in 1895. In 1909, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics. The company he founded, the Marconi Company Limited, was bought by the Swedish firm Ericsson in 2006.
5.
Television was invented by a Scottish engineer, John Logie Baird, in 1924. The first BBC television broadcasts in 1929 were made with Baird's system. In 2006, Logie Baird was named one of the 10 greatest Scottish scientists in history.
6.
The first ballpoint pen was invented by the Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro in 1938. Many other ballpoint pens have been designed over the years, but in the UK they are still called Biros.
7.
The Apple PC was invented by two American computer engineers, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, in 1976. The name Apple was chosen because it was Jobs' favourite fruit. Apple computers have always been highly praised for being both user-friendly and beautifully designed.
10.3 Statistics worldwide. 1.
60% of video games are bought by men and 40% by women.
2.
Nearly 75 trillion emails are sent every year.
3.
Over 40,000 questions are answered by Google every second.
4.
eBay was invented in 1995.
5.
Facebook has been translated into 76 languages since it began.
6.
The first Twitter message was sent in 2006.
7.
Airbnb was founded in San Francisco in 2008.
8. Amazon.com was founded in 1994.
10.4 Questions and Answers. 1.
How many video games are bought by men and women?
60% are bought by men, 40% by women. And did you know the average age of a video game player is 38?
2.
How many emails are sent every year?
Nearly 75 trillion. The average office worker receives 121 emails a day.
3.
How many questions are answered by Google every second?
Over 40,000 a second. About 15% of these have not been asked before.
4.
When was eBay invented?
In 1995, Pierre Omidyar was 28 when he invented it. He was a billionaire by the time he was 31.
5.
How many languages has Facebook been translated into?
76. There are now over 2 billion Facebook users. Of these, 83 million are fake profiles.
6.
When was the first Twitter message sent?
In 2006 by Jack Dorsey. Now 500 million tweets are sent every day by 328 million users.
7.
Where and when was Airbnb invented?
In San Francisco in 2008. It is now used by 150 million people in 191 countries.
8.
When was Amazon.com founded?
In 1994, Jeff Bezos started it from his garage. It is now the world's greatest online shopping company, with over 300 million customers.
10.5 Words that go together.
Video game. Text message. Facebook. Laptop.
10.6 Noun plus noun.
Business call. Business card. Business deal.
Football team. Football ground. Football game.
Phone number. Phone call.
Computer program. Computer game. Computer virus.
10.7 Adverb plus past participle. 1.
She has a wonderful job. She's very well paid.
2.
I didn't enjoy that novel. It was really badly written.
3.
You don't need to spend a lot of money on clothes to look well dressed.
4.
Our office is really well equipped. We have all the latest machines.
5.
I hope they don't bring their dogs. They're so badly behaved.
6.
Can I have my steak very well done, please? I don't like it rare.
7.
Surely you've heard of Ed Sheeran. He's a really well-known singer.
10.8 Talking about you. 1.
Do you ever play computer games?
No, but my nephew does all the time.
2.
Do you send a lot of text messages?
Of course I do. Doesn't everybody? I text all the time.
3.
Do you take a lot of photos?
I do. I have hundreds on my phone. Too many, really. I put them on Facebook sometimes.
4.
Who does the most housework in your home?
Not me, or my dad. My mum always says, "Oh, I'll do it. You're too slow."
5.
How do you like your steak?
Medium rare. I don't like it well done.
6.
Is your school well equipped?
It's okay. We have a lot of technical equipment. Trouble is, it sometimes breaks down. The teacher can't fix it. But there's a tech genius in our class who usually can.
7.
What do you think is the most important discovery ever made?
A difficult one. There are so many. The discovery of DNA is pretty important, I think.
10.9. The world's number one habit, chewing gum. Part 1.
This week on Worldly Wise, we look at the world's most common habit, chewing gum. Yes, chewing gum. Every year, 374 trillion sticks of chewing gum are made, and we chew 100,000 tons of it. So why do we do it? And how many of us know what it's made of?
Excuse me, I see you are chewing gum.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea what it's made of?
Made of? Nah, I've never thought about it.
What about you? Do you know?
No idea. Rubber, maybe?
And do you know who invented it?
The Americans?
Yeah, the Americans. I bet it was invented in the US.
And finally, tell me, why do you chew it?
Why?
I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to chew gum.
It's something to do.
Cool or not, chewing gum isn't made of rubber, and it wasn't invented by the Americans. It was invented by the Swedes. The Swedes, I hear you say? But listen to Lillian Wood, a chewing gum expert. Lillian, welcome.
Thank you. Well, the history of chewing gum goes back thousands of years. In Sweden, in 1993, a skeleton of a teenage boy was found. This boy was 9,000 years old, and in his mouth was some gum. It was made of tree sap and honey, and this is the first known chewing gum.
That's amazing. Perhaps we've always needed to chew things. After all, babies are born wanting to chew. They put everything into their mouths. So, Lillian, why do we chew gum?
We chew to clean our teeth and freshen our breath, but also just because we like chewing. It keeps us calm.
Yeah, keep calm and chew gum.
Yes, the ancient Greeks chewed a gum called mastica. It's a type of tree sap. The Greeks thought it was good for the health and it made the breath sweet-smelling. We also know that in the 1st century AD, the Mayan Indians in South America enjoyed chewing gum. They chewed a tree sap called chicle. They wrapped it in leaves and put it in their mouths.
The first packet of chewing gum.
Yes, indeed, the first packet of gum.
10.10. Part 2. The history of modern chewing gum.
So, what's the history of modern chewing gum? Well, in 1871, Thomas Adams, an American inventor, introduced chewing gum from Mexico to the US, and it became popular very quickly with American kids.
Yes, but it was in 1892 when a very clever young man called William Wrigley decided chewing gum was the thing of the future. He was a business genius. He was the first to use advertising to help sell his products.
Really? What did he do?
He hired hundreds of pretty young girls. He called them the Wrigley Girls. and they walked up and down the streets of New York and Chicago, handing out free chewing gum. Millions of pieces were given away.
Very clever. Very modern.
Yes, he also had huge electric billboards made. One billboard was a mile long and ran along the side of a train track. So, of course, Wrigley's gum soon became very popular all over the US.
But how did the rest of the world get to love chewing gum?
Well, during the Second World War, American soldiers were given Wrigley's gum to help them stay calm. In fact, in 1944, all chewing gum production went to the US Army, and they took it overseas and gave it to children. Soon they were followed everywhere with the cry, "Got any gum, chum?" So, of course, it spread worldwide.
Yes, I believe it's even taken into space by the astronauts. So, Lillian, what is it made of?
Well, the strangest thing about gum today is that nobody knows exactly what it's made of. The recipe is secret.
Ah, thank you, Lillian. That's all fascinating, but there's a problem with gum. It's a favourite habit, but when the flavour has gone and we finish chewing, what do? We throw it away. Chewing gum litter covers the streets of all our towns. Did you know that the cost of cleaning it from the streets of London is more than £10 million a year? Now, that's a fact worth chewing on.
10.11 Phone numbers
07700 900 333.
0049 021 374 74.
0115 496 0499.
0800 142 2466.
10.12 1. Patrick and John.
Hi, John. It's Pat.
Hi, Pat. Where are you?
I'm at the station, on my way home from work.
I thought I could hear a lot of noise in the background.
I'll be quick, because my train's due. I just wanted to ask you...
Sorry, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear that.
I know, it's not a good signal. But listen, I'm calling because I can't make it on Thursday.
What's that?
I said I can't make Thursday.
You can't make Thursday?
Yeah. Are you free on Friday instead?
Friday? I'm not sure. Can I get back to you?
Sure, that's fine. Oh, there's my train. Speak later.
Yeah, speak to you later then. Bye.
2. John and Emma.
Hello?
Hello, Emma. It's John. I'm trying to get hold of Patrick.
I'm afraid he's not in. Have you tried his mobile?
Yeah, I tried that first, but he's not answering.
It's probably switched off. He's at the cinema with Richard.
Oh, okay. Can you give him a message then?
Of course.
Just tell him Friday's fine.
Okay, I'll tell him as soon as he's back.
Thanks, Emma. Anyway, how are you? Why aren't you at the cinema?
Oh, I was tired and I had to finish some work.
Well, tell that husband of yours I'll see him Friday straight after work.
I'll do that. I hope to see you soon, John.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
3. Chantal, Harriet, Patrick and Teresa.
Good morning, Wales and Mary International. Chantal speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, could I speak to Patrick Doyle, please?
I'm afraid his line's busy. Would you like to hold?
Yes, please.
It's ringing for you now.
Thank you.
Hello, Patrick Doyle's office. Teresa speaking.
Hello, can I speak to Patrick Doyle, please?
Who's speaking, please?
This is Harriet Smith from Digby and Moss Associates.
Oh, good morning, Miss Smith. I'll put you through immediately.
Thank you.
It's Harriet Smith on the line for you, Patrick.
Harriet, good to hear from you. Are you back from that conference in New York?
Yes, and I wondered whether you'd spoken to me.
4. Teresa and Emma.
Hello, Patrick Doyle's office.
Hi, Teresa, it's Emma.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Doyle.
Can I speak to Patrick, please?
Oh, I'm afraid he has someone with him at the moment, Mrs. Doyle. Is it urgent? Do you want me to interrupt him?
No, it's not urgent. It can wait until this evening. I've got a meeting myself in a few minutes. Just tell him I rang and I'll see him this evening at home.
Will do. I hope there isn't a problem.
No, not a problem. Good news, actually. Bye, Teresa.
Oh, bye, Mrs. Doyle.
.1 Brian Cox, From Pop Star to Professor. 1.
When did he start being interested in the stars?
When he was 3.
2.
How long has he been interested in the stars?
Since he was 3.
3.
When did he start doing research at CERN?
When he was 29.
4.
How long has he been doing research at CERN?
For over 20 years.
5.
When did he make his first TV program?
In 2005.
6.
How long has he been making TV programs?
Since 2005.
7.
How many programs has he made?
A great many.
8.
Where has he been touring recently?
All over Europe and Australia.
11.2 Questions with how long? 1.
My sister's working in New York.
How long has she been working there?
Only a couple of months.
2.
I'm training to run the marathon.
How long have you been training?
Since Christmas. Wish me luck.
3.
My boss is on holiday.
How long has he been away?
2 weeks. It's great without him.
4.
I'm learning how to drive.
How long have you been learning?
Nearly 2 years. I've failed my test 3 times already.
5.
I know Maria very well.
How long have you known her?
Since we were at school together.
6.
I have the new iPhone.
How long have you had it?
I only got it yesterday.
11.3 What have they been doing? 1.
Why are the students bored?
Because the teacher's been talking for hours and they haven't understood a word.
2.
Why are they so tired and dirty?
Because they've been playing rugby, but they're happy because they've won the match.
3.
Why is she hot and tired?
Because she's been cooking all morning. She's made 2 huge chocolate cakes for the party.
4.
Why has he got backache?
Because he's been digging the garden. He's planted 6 rows of cabbages.
5.
Why is she covered in paint?
Because she's been decorating her flat. She's painted 2 walls already.
6.
Why have they got no money left?
Because they've been shopping. They've spent over £200.
11.4. Martha Lane Fox, co-founder of lastminute.com. Tense review. 1.
Where did she study?
At Oxford University.
2.
How long has she been working in digital technology?
Since 1994, when she joined an IT company called Spectrum.
3.
Who did she meet while she was working at Spectrum?
Brent Hoberman. She founded lastminute.com with him.
4.
How much did they sell lastminute.com for?
£577 million in 2005.
5.
Where was she driving when she had a car crash?
In Morocco.
6.
Has she fully recovered from the accident?
No, she hasn't. She still walks with a stick.
7.
What has she been doing since 2007?
She's been doing a lot of work for charities.
8.
How long has she been director of Twitter? How many followers does she have?
Since 2016. She has over 186,000 followers.
11.5. My kind of thing. 1. Paula.
My passion at the moment is horse riding. It's strange to hear myself say that because I've only been doing it for about a year and I never thought I'd love it so much. It all happened because I was talking to someone who rode horses and I said that stupid thing people often say, "Oh, I've always wanted to do that." And she said, "Why don't you then?" And I thought, why not? I've always liked horses. They're so big and powerful, but so beautiful when you see them racing round a field or a track. Riding's very physically demanding. Your body has to move with the horse, and of course, I've fallen off a few times. But amazingly, the more you fall, the less it hurts. I've been learning how to give really clear instructions. You have to understand your horse. They have moods. You never know what a ride is going to be like. A horse you had a fantastic ride on one week can be slow and miserable the next week. I like that about horses. They have personalities.
2. Andrew.
I'm passionate about poetry. I studied English literature at university, but it wasn't until after I graduated that I really saw the point of poetry and started writing it myself. I've been trying to write for about 10 years now. I'm not sure it's any good, but I keep trying. I've met some other hopeful poets like me, and I've heard them reading it aloud. It was amazing. I felt the power of the words. The thing I like so much about it is that you can say so much with just a few words. A little means a lot. Each word, each noun, verb, adjective, preposition has to work hard. There's a poem by Simon Armitage called To His Lost Lover. It's a poem of regret, about not saying the things you wish you had said to a past lover. This poem really speaks to me. Poetry's all about saying what often goes unsaid, and with passion. It can be such a help in your life. If you feel tired or depressed, you can always find a poem that will help.
3. James.
The thing I'm passionate about, and this may surprise many people, is British weather. I've been interested in it ever since I was a child. I loved all our rainy holidays by the English seaside. I know everyone complains about the weather, but I love it. It means there's always something to talk about, and it's a great way of starting a conversation at a bus stop. Also, it's the rain that gives us our green fields. I think if you live somewhere like California and there are 365 days of sunshine, it's boring. But here, perhaps it's been raining all morning and then suddenly the sun comes out and you really appreciate that sunshine. It's magic. Raindrops are like diamonds in the sun. And it's not true that it rains all the time in Britain. It doesn't. It just rains quite a lot. You know that joke? If you don't like English weather, wait 10 minutes. That's why it's always interesting.
11.6 Alison's life.
I didn't marry until quite late. I met my husband Ben when I was 30, and we didn't marry until I was 33. That was in 2012. We got married in a church near where my mum lives. Ben and I had a great honeymoon. We toured America. We were away for 3 weeks. And soon after that, I found I was pregnant. That was Ellen, our first baby. She was born the year after we got married, and 2 years after that, in 2015, we had the twins, Tessa and Tom. They've been keeping us busy ever since. I'm exhausted most of the time, but they're great fun. I'm really glad I married Ben. He's a great dad. I want it to be forever. My mum and dad divorced when I was just 13, and I don't want us to do that. My mum helps me with the kids, but my dad died last year. He had a heart attack. I miss him a lot.
11.7 Finding the right words. 1.
Helen had the baby last night.
Wow! Oh, congratulations! Was it a boy or a girl?
A boy.
Oh, how much did he weigh?
4.1 kilos.
Ooh, a big boy. What's he called?
William James, after both of our fathers.
That's nice. How are mother and baby doing?
They're fine.
That's wonderful. Oh, give Helen my love when you see her.
I will do, thanks.
2.
Alfie and I have got engaged.
That's fantastic news. Congratulations.
Do you like my ring?
Wow. Diamonds. It's beautiful. When's the wedding?
We're thinking of getting married next spring.
I hope I'm invited.
Of course you are. I want you to be a bridesmaid.
Really? I'd love that. I've never been one before.
3.
Have you heard about Bill and Josie?
No? What's happened?
Well, they've been having a tough time recently.
I know. They haven't been getting on well at all.
Well, they've finally decided to split up.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What a shame.
Yes, I always thought they were so good together.
4.
We lost Grandpa last week.
I know. Your dad told me. I'm so sorry. He was such a lovely man. Everyone was really fond of him.
He and Grandma were together over 60 years.
Oh, that's incredible. How old was he?
88.
And how's your grandma coping?
She's okay. She's got her family around her.
Well, I'm sure you all have wonderful memories of him.
11.8 My Vision for the 21st Century. Part 1. Reasons to be optimistic.
Although the world is facing many serious problems at the moment, I am generally optimistic about the future. We've been worrying about the end of civilization for over 100 years now, but we've always found ways to deal with the problems we face, and I believe we can do the same in the future. Life could actually become much better for us all, with improvements in healthcare and technology. We've already made big improvements in life expectancy. People have been living longer and longer lives since the 1950s, when most Americans lived for about 50 years. Nowadays, life expectancy is nearly 80 years, and in future, most people will live to be 100. People often say that they don't want to live to be 100, but that's because they imagine living in an old and broken body. We've already discovered how to grow new cells to repair parts of the body, and when we can grow new hearts, kidneys and livers outside of the body, we'll be able to use them like the spare parts of a car, keeping our bodies fit and healthy until we die. People worry about world population becoming an even bigger problem if people live longer. However, when people become more educated and richer, they don't need or want to have so many children. The challenge, therefore, is to use the technology we have to educate people better, and to use robots to create wealth that we can share more equally. In recent times, many people have been demanding independence and wanting more control of their own countries. I think we need to go the other way. I strongly believe that there will be a world government in future, because our problems and resources will have to be managed at a global level.
11.9 My Vision for the 21st Century, Part 2 Reasons to be Pessimistic.
There are reasons to be pessimistic. There have always been selfish and greedy people, and there always will be. These people will refuse to accept that we need to look after our planet and use our resources carefully. They won't be interested in finding ways to live happily without spending money on more and more material things. These people will always want to fight wars to get what they want. We have the technology to make our lives better, but we need the wisdom to go with it. The big question is, how can we stop the most selfish and greedy people being in the positions of power in the world?
12.1 It all depends.
What are you doing this weekend?
I think my brother's coming home from university for the weekend, but he's not sure. If he comes, I'll go to the football with him on Saturday. If he doesn't come, I'll probably play video games with Oliver at his house. What about you?
It depends on the weather. If it's nice on Sunday, I might go to my uncle's with my parents. He's having a barbecue, but I won't go if it rains. I might just stay at home. I don't like typical English barbecues with umbrellas.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
12.2 What are you doing this weekend? 1.
What are you doing this weekend?
If the weather's good, I'll go to the beach.
2.
What are you doing this weekend?
If I have time, I'll meet friends for coffee.
3.
What are you doing this weekend?
If it doesn't rain, I'll do some gardening.
4.
What are you doing this weekend?
If it rains, I won't go out. I'll stay in and watch TV.
5.
What are you doing this weekend?
If I don't have any work to do, I'll spend a day in London.
6.
What are you doing this weekend?
If there's a good film on,
I'll go to the cinema.
12.3 Holly's plans.
Have you decided which university you're going to yet?
I'm still not sure. I might go to Liverpool, or I might go to Manchester. I'm definitely going to have a gap year, though. I need a break from studying.
Great. What are you going to do?
I'm going to travel round South America.
Sounds great. Is that just travelling or working?
I'd like to just travel, but I'm going to look for work because I'll need the money. I might get a job picking fruit, or I might teach English somewhere.
12.4 Giving advice. 1.
I can't decide what to study at university, French or economics.
If you study French, you'll have to spend a year in France.
If you study economics, it might be more useful in life.
2.
I'm not sure where to go, Bristol or Edinburgh.
If you go to Bristol, you'll be nearer home.
If you go to Edinburgh, it'll be a new experience.
3.
I don't know whether to live on campus or in the city.
You'll get to know more people if you live on campus.
You might learn more about real life if you live in the city.
4.
I don't know whether to get a part-time job or take out a big loan.
If you get a part-time job, you'll have less time to study.
If you take out a big loan, it might take a long time to pay it back.
5.
I'm wondering whether to start next year or have a gap year.
You won't forget what you've learned at school if you start next year.
You'll have a wonderful break from studying if you have a gap year.
12.5 Why is Robert worried?
Hi, Robert. How's it going?
Not good, Scott. My company's losing money, and they're making a lot of cuts.
Oh, no. Is your job safe?
No, not at all. I'm really worried. If I lose my job, what will I do?
Well, it's not always the end of the world, you know.
Oh, easy for you to say. Your company's doing really well. But what if it were you? If you lost your job, what would you do?
Well, that's very unlikely. We're looking for new people at the moment. But if it happened, I'd start my own business.
I can't do that. It's a shame. If I were in sales, your company would probably give me a job.
Oh, they would, for sure. If I were you, I'd retrain.
12.6 Charlie's dream.
I'd like to be bigger. I play rugby, and if I were bigger and stronger, I'd be in the first team. And if I played really well, I might be captain. And then, if I trained really hard, maybe one day I could play for England. And I would take my dad to meet the team. He would be so proud of me.
Jessica's dream.
I love my kids, but I'd really like to have more time to myself. If I had a weekend without kids, I'd have a long lie-in. If there was a good film on, I'd go to the cinema in the afternoon with a friend. On Sunday, if the weather was nice, I'd have a nice long walk somewhere, maybe on my own. Oh, heaven.
12.7 Dan.
The doctor says I need to do more exercise. I hate doing exercise. And I'm not interested in cycling to work. I like driving. I can't drink less coffee. I need 10 cups a day. I don't want to eat less junk food. I like junk food. I can't cook, and I don't want to learn. Why should I watch less TV? It's my only hobby. I like going to bed really late. I am not going to meditate. It's really boring.
12.8. At a crossroads in life. Jamie.
I'm in my second year at university. I'm doing physics and I like my course. But the thing is, I sing and play guitar, and I joined a local band in my first year. The other band members aren't students. I met one of them in a pub. And I love playing in the band. I'm discovering I'm more of a musician than I thought I was, and, well, we're actually pretty good. And our last few concerts sold out completely. So the other guys want to give up their jobs and try to make a living from it. It might not be much of a living, but if we were prepared to go on the road and travel, we'd get plenty of gigs in pubs and local halls. And if we recorded some of our songs, we could put them online and make some money from downloads. But obviously, I'd have to drop out of university and my parents would go crazy. I don't know how easy it would be to get back onto a course later, so it feels like it would be a stupid thing to do, really.
Sylvia.
I'm a lawyer and I've been with the same law firm for 11 years now. It's difficult work sometimes, but I love it and I'm doing very well. Although I'm only 37, I'm one of the most senior people here. I know that if I continue in this job, when a certain person retires next year, I'll probably become one of the partners in the firm. That would be amazing, but, well, I've never been sure whether I really want to have children. It's never seemed the most important thing to me. That's probably because it would mean giving up work for a year or two. I wouldn't want to go back to work too soon and try and do this job and deal with a baby. But now that the clock is ticking fast, it's time to make a final decision. If I left now to have a baby, I don't think I'd get the partnership in the firm. I think they'd give it to someone else next year. But if I decided not to have children, I wonder if I'd really regret it later.
Donna.
My husband died 3 years ago. He'd been very ill for a long time, so it wasn't a shock, but it hasn't been easy. We were married for 41 years. I couldn't imagine life without him when it happened, but here I am, and I need to decide what to do with my life now. I'm thinking of selling this house. It's nice that it's full of nice memories of our lives together, but I wouldn't lose those memories if I moved out. It's way too big for me, really, and I think I'll feel happier and more relaxed if I live somewhere smaller. If I get a flat in the right area, in town, there'll be lots of people around, and I'd like that. But my daughter really wants me to go and live with them. She says she could make part of their house a granny flat. It's kind of them, and I love being around my grandchildren, but, oh, granny flat. That sounds so horrible. I'm still young. I'm only 68. And if I lived with them, I wouldn't feel independent anymore.
12.9. What happened next? Jamie.
Well, I surprised myself. The scientist in me told me to continue with my course, but the artist in me suddenly felt stronger, so I dropped out. I know I'll be able to get back onto a course somehow if I change my mind, and I felt I'd really regret it if I didn't try this weird and wonderful life I'm living. We're doing okay. Just. And who knows, if we start selling a lot more downloads, we might make the big time.
Sylvia.
It was an easy decision in the end. Nature is clever, and I started having really strong feelings about wanting to have a baby. I don't know how I'd live without little Oscar now. He's gorgeous. They've been great at work. They gave the partnership to someone else, but they say there'll be another one coming up in a few years, and I'll be first in line for that one.
Donna.
I sold the house and decided to buy a flat. It's not in town, but it's not far away, so I can easily go there if I feel like I need to be among people. And it's not very far from my daughter's either, so she's happy that I'm close. She often comes round and brings the children to visit me, and I go to theirs for dinner a couple of times a week, but I still feel very independent.
12.10 Bring and take, come and go. 1.
Bye, everyone. I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Where are you going?
Australia. I'm taking my kids to meet their cousins in Sydney.
Oh, lucky you. When you come back, will you bring me a boomerang?
2.
OK, class, it's nearly time to go home. Don't forget to bring your money for the school trip tomorrow. We're going to the Natural History Museum.
Oh, Miss Jones, can't you take us somewhere more exciting?
3.
Jake, you were very late last night. What time did you come home?
It was before midnight, Mum. Honest. Ryan brought me home in his car.
4.
I've got a new flat. You must come and visit soon. And bring Emma and Dan with you. I'll cook you a meal.
Great. We'll bring some champagne to toast your new home.
5.
I'm going to Ireland tomorrow. Deirdre's coming round this evening. She's bringing a present she wants me to take to her sister in Dublin.
Have a good trip. Bring me a bottle of Guinness back.
12.11 Words that go together. 1.
I usually order a takeaway on Friday evenings. I like the ones from my local Indian restaurant.
2.
I had to take the jumper I bought back to the shop because it had a hole in it.
3.
I sing in a choir, and I think music is a great way to bring people together.
4.
I don't know if it's possible to bring peace to the world. Some people seem to love fighting.
5.
Colin went a bit crazy when his girlfriend left him.
6.
I find it difficult to go to sleep if the room isn't completely dark.
7.
I always came last in sports competitions at school.
8.
When we took little Mark to Disneyland, he thought his dreams had come true.
12.12 Thank you and goodbye. 1.
It's late. We must be going now. Thank you so much for a lovely evening. Our pleasure. Thank you for coming.
The meal was fantastic.
I'm glad you liked it. Bye. Drive safely. I will. Bye. And thanks again.
2.
Thanks so much. It's so kind of you.
That's okay.
I'm so grateful for all your help.
Don't mention it. It's been fun.
Well, would you mind helping me with just one more thing?
Of course not. No problem.
3.
I hope you have a good flight. Who's picking you up?
My sister, Lara.
Well, give her my love.
Will do. OK, I'd better go through security now. It takes ages. Bye.
Goodbye. Look after yourself.
4.
Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed my stay.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. Come back and see us again soon.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Maybe next year.
That would be lovely.
5.
Have a safe journey.
Thanks. I'll text you when I arrive.
And say hello to your parents from me.
I will. OK, I'd better get on.
OK. Bye. Take care.
And you. See you soon. Bye.
6.
Goodbye. Thanks for everything. It's been great fun.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed being your teacher.
Well, we've learned so much with you.
I'm glad to hear it. Good luck with your English in future and keep in touch.
We will. Bye.